While we are in the age of a digital revolution, industrial revolution, the low-income countries really lack of the skills, knowledge, and the resources to be able to catch up in this wave of industrial revolution. We need to make sure they are not left behind again, and the gap between the rich and the poor countries increase.
Hello and welcome to the Pathway to Impact podcast series. My name is Madeline Arkins, Project Officer at UIN and your host for today. Join us for a thought-provoking conversation with Professor Xiaolan Fu, Founding Director of the Technology and Management Centre for Development at Oxford University. We discussed the intersection of technology, innovation and education, the challenges faced by low-income countries in the digital revolution, and the vital role education plays in bridging that gap. And above all, how academic research can be in service to society. Hope you enjoy. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Professor Xiaolan Fu on this great topic. Professor Xiaolan is the Founding Director of the Technology and Management Centre for Development at Oxford University. She has a wealth of consulting research experience, having conducted research for the likes of the ILO, the Commonwealth Secretariat, and the Chinese government. She serves on the advisory expert group of the OECD Global Investment Forum, as well as the DFID ESRC Economic Growth Directorate. She is president of the Chinese Economic Association of Europe and founder of Ox Value AI, a wonderful set of accolades. Thank you, Xiaolan, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. A great pleasure.
To get us started, Xiaolan, would you tell us a bit about the work of the Technology and Management Centre for Development at Oxford and maybe how it came to be, considering you are its founding director?
Yeah, the Technology and Management Centre for Development is a multidisciplinary research centre based at the Department for International Development at the University of Oxford. So this center focuses on the research and the teaching on how to develop technology and managerial capabilities in the developing world, and also to understand what are the impact of technical progress on the society and the economy, and what are the policy recommendations that we could propose to maximize the benefits, harness the benefits from technology progress, and also minimize the possible negative impact.
Great. Okay. And that was founded when?
2008. So it's 15 years.
Maybe coming on to that, since so much of that is about harnessing research and taking that outside of the university, it seems you work a lot actually at the intersection of technology, innovation, and education. And in a previous interview of yours, I heard you would say you operated under the belief that academic research should serve society and the economy. I wondered, how do you believe that this could serve or can best serve both society and the economy? And maybe how can we better facilitate this transfer or this service?
I do really believe scientific research should serve the society and the economy. Of course, for some of the people, it could be purely because of interest. But I think for the majority, what we are doing is meaningful. Our knowledge and our ideas can contribute to make the world a better world and help more people, while at the same time ourselves feel more fulfilled and have a more meaningful work life. Also, to say how important is science, technology, innovation for the economy and society, we can have a lecture and have several Nobel Prize winners analyzing how technical change or innovation contribute to long-term sustainable or innovation. Today, we don't have time to do that. However, we can see it's not only contribute to new products, new ideas, great efficiency, and lower cost, higher quality of the services or products we enjoy, but also we can see it helps the society. Looking at the examples, like we are living in an age that people say is a fourth industrial revolution. At least we see a lot of technology breakthroughs. Nowadays, the digital technology is transforming our life, not only in production, but also our daily life. Not only in physical production or organization, but also how services are delivered. So even during the pandemic, when there are lockdowns, Our children can get education online. We can get health advices online. And also we get deliveries, food by booking online. They are changing our daily life and also how public services are delivered, including e-government, etc. And also during the pandemic, we see how the vaccines and how the medicines help to save people and how they help to end the pandemic. And the latest Nobel Prize winner going to medical science is really going to the scientist who discovered mRNA, etc. They really play very important critical role. In the United Nations, people talk about 2030 agenda for sustainable development. There are 17 goals, more than 150 sub-goals. And for many of them, in order to achieve them or accelerate to achieve them, we really need technological progress, technological breakthrough. We need wider diffusion and adoption in the wider society across the globe so that more people have access to food, energy, clean water, education, healthcare, etc., and have more information and resources. How to help to facilitate that? Of course, there are a lot of areas we need to do more work. I think two main areas. One area is to help the developing countries, especially the low-income countries. While we are in the age of a digital revolution, industrial revolution, the low-income countries really lack of the skills, knowledge, and the resources to be able to catch up in this wave of industrial revolution. We need to make sure they are not left behind again, and the gap between the rich and the poor countries increase after this wave of industrial revolution. So that's one area we need to do more through international collaboration, a wide range of areas, not only is science technology, including education, including climate change, etc. The second is climate change. This is a very urgent global challenge, and our response speed is far not enough. And this is the area we need to do more to facilitate. Actually, to respond to the climate change, many of the technologies already exist. The key issue is the wider society, the more than 100 developing countries that don't have access or the capacity to use that green technology. So facilitate the transfer, diffusion, and adoption of the green technology to battle the climate change challenge. That's another important area to facilitate.
Yeah, that was a great answer. And I know you've done a lot of work on the diffusion of innovation in lower income countries. So that actually maybe brings me to my next question, because as you say, as this digital divide becomes greater, we'll see more disparate growth within and between countries. And when technology is the foundation of so much when it comes to innovation and growth in other areas, as you said, in climate, in health, in how we go about our day-to-day lives, this is only going to become more apparent. How, in your mind, can education play a better role in overcoming this divide? And maybe have you seen any examples of this really coming to the forefront?
I have done research on the diffusion and the adoption of innovation in the low-income countries, and I did field work, I think about 10 years work in Africa. And our research found the major bottleneck for innovation in Africa, first is lack of resources, second, lack of skills. Lack of skills is a fundamental constraint for the African developing country. And how to enhance the skills, education, training, they are the key vehicle to develop the skills and the capabilities and empower people and inspire their creativity and allow them to achieve the goal or the ideas that they have. Education is one of the major channels to enhance the absorptive capacity, also enhance the innovative capability. Now in developing countries, we again see the gap between the developed and developing countries from children, from nursery. The gap is there. Children in Africa, in low-income countries, their access to not only education, but also good quality education are very key. How to bridge this gap? First, of course, the country government need to do more. Of course, there are international cooperation, many things need to be done. the governments in Africa, in low-income countries, in the Caribbean, etc., South Asia, all need to do more and put education as a priority and use more effective policy. Although different countries, the policy should be different because the countries are different. However, there are two things we can do. First is digital technology. We should really leverage the advantage, the benefits provided by digital technology, which allow the delivery of education, delivery of knowledge to reach much further than the existing education system. So they can reach the people in the mountainous area, in the rural area, reach people who are disabled, reach people who are elderly. They can have lifelong education opportunity, etc. And also this education delivery is not only making impossible possible, but also make them being able to deliver it, in some cases much less costly and also in a high quality. And artificial intelligence even make more bespoke education training possible. So for kids with various interests and talents and characteristics, and AI can help us to make more bespoke education being available to people, and hence the quality of education could be higher, and without significantly increase the cost of education. So one is the accessibility and affordability. Second is quality enabled by AI. And also AI like ChatGPT bring great challenges, transforming the education system, making us to think how should we face the new challenges, but also opportunities brought by ChatGPT, because it can help doing the literature review or synthesize text much more efficient, and even sometimes as good as high quality student or human being. Education system need to be transformed in a way. Instead of block this, instead of ignore this technical or breakthrough, but really is to embrace it, face it, because that's the future, but see how we can educate our community to be able to grasp it and use it, and make sure they are used in a way that ensures safety, transparency, fairness, all those basic principles. So in this process, again, the equality issue comes too. Yeah, that's one area. In order to do this, always finance is another. When we say we can use technology, we can benefit from AI or digital technology to help the education services delivery and quality, finance is always an important dimension or support or driver. So one is government need to do more, really need to prioritize this and put education first. Secondly, is use international collaboration, and in the private sector and public sector. So FDI. So we should think more creatively, encourage more foreign direct investment and the international collaboration in education. We see in some countries, like in the Caribbean, they attract good universities, like in the West, to set up campus in Caribbean islands in their country, so that foster more knowledge exchange and people exchange. And also we see this in China, many of the foreign universities set up campus or research centers inside China. In China, in the case, it's not only universities, they also set up campus, middle schools or primary schools. They also have this international collaboration. So attract the foreign private capital into the education sector to enhance the education quality in the developing countries. I think that's also one of the areas we should work on. I attended World Investment Forum 2 weeks ago in Abu Dhabi. One of the sessions is talking about FDI and education. I gave a talk to the executives of the investment promotion agency. So yeah, this is also an area that I think previously overlooked, and we can do more in this area.
Yeah, those are some really concrete steps. Thank you. I think a lot of people can sometimes see this issue as a bit of a self-reinforcing vicious cycle, in that if you don't have the infrastructure and if you don't have the money, how can you build it out and deliver this? Whereas if you do deliver it, it can be, as you said, so much more affordable, and it can be an equalizer on top of everything. This question is for my own curiosity, because as I was reading through, I read about your social enterprise Oxvalue AI, which is an algorithm that you developed to evaluate technology and patents to help overcome the death valley that so much innovation and startups face and give objective data to investors. And that raised the question to me, how can you put a price on innovation and cutting edge technology, and what factors came into this and how did this come about?
Actually, the valuation of early stage technology has been a challenge. I think it's a global intellectual kind of challenge, a bottleneck in the whole innovation chain. Actually, currently, there isn't a kind of widely accepted good method for the valuation of technology. The reason, what inspired me actually comes from the need in the industry. I have talked to a lot of startups or researchers who have the good idea, who want to transfer to the industry and scale up so that those good ideas from the labs can be transferred to the industry and being scaled up and contribute to society. However, always there is a very difficult kind of a step for them is the transfer process and how to find. They need financial investment to help them to develop the idea, to develop a demo and test it and produce it and scale up. So all this process need investment. Very often is the inventor's idea and the investor's idea, they have different knowledge about this new technology and they have different expectations about the price. In new technology, a professor could think, oh yeah, it has great potential and it could worth 10 million. And the investor may think it's only less than 1 million or 500,000. So it's a big gap between the expectations of the investors and the inventors. This is caused by market information asymmetry and also their knowledge about the technology itself, the insights of the technology. The current methods have various limitations. That's why we were thinking, I found the needs from the innovators, also found needs from the investors. Investors also looking for good technology to invest in. However, they lack of that technology knowledge, and so they want some kind of third-party, independent, objective, and accurate kind of reference given to them to help them make the decision. So that's Oxvalue.ai. We developed a theory called a utility theory of technology value. And we argue that the value of a technology is determined by the utility, the usefulness that it provides. So then how to define this utility? It depends on several dimensions. First is what kind of market need it meets. And also how large is that market? That's number one. Secondly, is how much of the market that you can really meet. This is like the pandemic. We have global need for vaccine and to cure COVID. And how advanced is your technology to allow you to fully address the global demand? So this means how much you can cure the disease and also means how competitive you are in comparison to similar products. So this is the second dimension. The third dimension is when you have a technology to realize your full potential, one patent may not be enough. You need other complementary technology or complementary regulatory conditions to fulfill its value. We have an iPhone. iPhone needs 4G or 5G in a country which only have a 1G or 2G. A lot of usefulness of an iPhone cannot be realized. That's complementary. Or it could be regulatory. This is like the clean technology. There is a clean technology like the solar PV or wind turbine. However, we need a market for it. And there are existing fossil fuel. And they are very cheap. And therefore, if there is regulatory change to push for the transition towards the use of more clean technology, then we will see more demand for clean technology for solar panel. So this is regulatory conditions. And the final one is, of course, in the process, there are risks. And the risks are reflected in the life cycle stage of the technology, whether it's very early or it's like AI is coming to an explosion, a kind of mature stage, or it is too mature, is declining, replacing by other technology. One is by the life cycle, and another is the team. Team characteristics are, I think, the most important aspect that venture capital investors paying attention to. They always talk about we invest in people, and their attention, emphasis on people. One is quality. It reflects the quality of the technology. Secondly, it also reflects the risk and risk management capability in realizing the whole potential of a technology. So that's how we developed a theory on the value of early stage technology.
That's so fascinating to hear that kind of broken down and demystified. And I love that people reflect the quality of technology. I think we actually have time for one more question. And that last piece kind of ties in actually to what this question is. This comes in from Despina. She asks, I'm curious to know how Xiaolan's team approaches the design and development of products and services in a way that best serves the needs of people, given that technology is a tool and only carries the biases of the experts that conceptualize them?
I think this is a very important question. Most of technical change are not neutral. They have a direction, bias towards use more capital or use more labor or use more skilled labor or use more unskilled labor, and also how to design that. So normally technologists, the one they design that, they are thinking about the market that they are living, they are facing. Like most of the new technologies are designed in the developed country, like in Europe or Japan or US, the technologists are thinking about that. And actually, demand is the most important pulling force for innovation. When we talk about people, if we look at the population, the majority of the people may be living in the developing countries, or they are not people in the urban area, they could be in the rural area. They have a lot of demand. And if we are talking about innovation for sustainable development, we should think about innovation to serve this large community of people. And therefore, when we approach this, we should really bear this in mind. Their skills, their capabilities, and their preference, and also the cultural preference, social norms that they are living. However, in reality, most of the innovation are created like in the universities in Massachusetts, in Silicon Valley or Oxford, Cambridge. So they are not really thinking about the needs of the majority. Let's really need policies to incentivize them, to guide them. And we see the success of the poor innovation, like the M-Pesa in Kenya. So that's a kind of digital mobile payment system created in Kenya. In China, there is a mobile app like TikTok, but it's most often used by the farmers, migrants, poor people. And why they are so successful, used by 400 million poor people in inland China, is because the inventor comes from one of the poorest regions in China, and he has those type of users in their mind. So the whole interface, the whole principles behind the algorithms are designed to let normal people, ordinary people, being seen and being heard. And they use algorithm technology to help their videos, their voices being seen rather than the elites being seen. That's most of the apps normally do, is they are promoting the famous elite one so that they're more and more being seen, and those new people are not being seen by people. However, in that app, they have a kind of equal kind of principle. Equality principle is everybody being heard and being seen.
That's great. I think you need to build something like that in. I heard a quote recently, and I think it was equity is either built in by design or not at all. And I think that is a really great example. Xiaolan, I could keep talking to you for many more minutes. You've got so much in your wheelhouse in terms of expertise, but we've actually run out of time. But thank you so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed this short chat, and I hope everyone who joined us did also. Thank you very much, Xiaolan, for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Madeline, and thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to the discussion. Follow UIN on LinkedIn, and if you're enjoying our podcasts, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your podcast platform of choice to help others find this content too.